I love what just watching HerO think, because there's moments like if you watch GSL, I hope I don't spoil too much of it, but HerO was able to use some really creative things with Warp Prisms as per usual. Yeah. So we'll see whether or not HerO's able to really do that, but in the same time, we're talking about thinking about matchups and being creative. NonY's also a person who does that too. He practices his builds meticulously in single player, and he's just a player that also screams preparation. So maybe he has something planned for his teammate.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if NonY actually wants to play his opponent head-to-head, or if he has some sort of special build. A lot of times when you are going up against a player you know is a lot better than you, I wouldn't say a lot better than you, but better than you will kind of play a little bit riskier. Try to get that little edge, to get that advantage, whether it be economically, whether it be units, catching your opponent off guard with Dark Templars, proxy gating. The list goes on, but a lot of times you will do something like that. We'll see if NonY actually prepared something, if at all, anything, because he is a person that has a lot of pride, and sometimes he chooses to just try to play head-to-head and outthink his opponent.
Now NonY's playing much safer. He's scouting after 9 pylon and checked every corner of his natural just to make sure there's no proxies. HerO at the same time, he's going to scout a lot later. In fact, significantly later. He already got his first simulator, and he's going to get a second pylon as well before he even moves out. So, well, actually, no, just kidding. He was getting ready to get his second pylon. But the idea is, Belshire Beach, there is no ramp between the main and natural, so that makes it a lot more difficult in terms of holding, because you need more than one force field to hold. As a result, sometimes it has the same adage as Taldering Malt, where people say you have to kind of warp gate rush or prepare for a warp gate rush based off that.
So a lot of times we see this 4-gate against 4-gate type of build, where both players just try to defend or attack each other. Just looking at this initial time, now you can keep your probe in long enough to see whether or not they're going over 20 probes or not. Normally Stalkers aren't out at this time. You can see that right now Liquid HerO does have the slightly faster Cyber Core, and he is putting down a second gateway.
So yeah, he's going to go 3 Stalker.
3 Stalker.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. In fact, it's probably the best build, I think, to open in terms of being safe on Belshire Beach, just because it gives you lots of flexibility. Of course, if you feel like your opponent is playing really greedy, you can kind of transition Punish into a 4-gate, like what Mana did against Axelab, and Axelab was teching the DTs at that time. So we've seen some interesting choice of builds, but again, this is probably, I think, our second or third PvP on this map specifically. NonY, he's going a more standard route. In fact, his second gas is massively delayed, and he's saving up a lot of minerals, and he could end up transitioning to a straight up 4-gate. Yeah,
it will be a 4-gate, no doubt. You can see the second gateway going down here. He stopped at 20 probes. This is the normal thing to do. And there goes his other 2 gateways. So he needs to chrono boost out that baby right here. Warp gate technology is inbound. But I think overall, HerO is doing a great build in response to a 4-gate. This is specifically geared to defend against a 4-gate. Now, the big question is, does HerO get additional gateways? He needs to do that if he wants to fend off against it. He can't do 4 gates against 2 gates. I don't care how good your micro is. It's not going to be that effective. Yeah,
and HerO's deciding right now what he wants to do. He's going to place a 3rd gateway and a 4th gateway, so he's going to match it eventually. Now, the way the 3 Stalker build works, especially based off the way Yonghua had it, you need to be really active with your first Stalkers. You have to constantly be scouting, try to cut off the probe from being able to plan anything. That's why HerO's controlling the watchtowers, but NonY already got the pylon down and is here in the right-hand corner of the map. You can see NonY already trying to hide his probe just in case he discovers the pylon. Won't necessarily mean he discovers the probe. And we'll see whether or not NonY is able to effectively execute this. You can see that his Stalkers and Zealot has been revealed, and HerO, he already has a pretty big indication of what's happening.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't know his opponent is 4-gating yet. This could be just slight pressure. And it looks like NonY will just back up here. The first Zealot needs to be so careful. But, oh my god, HerO! He almost overstepped his boundaries right there.
He hasn't lost too much. He hasn't actually really done true damage yet to the hull of one of the Stalkers, and HerO still has room to micro if he can give time to recharge, and he also has those Stalkers as an advantage. And of course NonY doesn't really have the resupply at the moment because his pylon is not really there, and you can see HerO completely overwhelming the initial force of NonY as well, and you can see the Zealot trying to work onto those Stalkers as best as they can, but this pylon's taking way too long to get up here, and HerO does shut that down at least the first part of the rush, but NonY's not done just yet.
You can definitely see the power of this 3 Stalker push. Not only that, he has that second assimilator, so he has the potential to always have more Stalkers than his opponent. Great micro, he's going to ferry the 1 weakened Stalker back, It looks like he will keep that. In the meantime, NonY's going to lose additional units, and through all of this, HerO actually plants down a proxy pylon and is sending in 2 additional zealots. NonY is looking terrible. Let's look at the units lost. 3 to 12.
Oh my goodness,
My
wow.
God.
Great micro from HerO. You can tell even he hasn't even lost that much damage on his stock. He's able to get positioning and really out micro NonY. And you can see NonY forced to warp in back at home. His second gas is massively delayed. And so even if he is able to recover from this, he's just going to be very far behind. HerO already starting his robotics just in case the transition is needed. But he may not need it. NonY has not much to defend, really. He's only got 1 sentry, and that can't even hold your ramp.
No, it can't. I mean, the force field goes down, but it's futile, unfortunately, for NonY, as HerO's just going to bring in his remainder of the Stalkers. Probably just clamp down on his opponent. You can see that NonY's just trying and fighting with every last breath that he has, but the Stalker count is just way too much. There it is. GG.
So pretty quick surgical execution by HerO as he's able to defend the forward gate very adequately and overwhelms his opponent. In fact, what surprised me the most was not only that he defended, but he kept so much of his units with no damage. Normally you see like a bunch of orange, red stalkers. Yeah, most of them in full health. So.
That was a delayed forward gate. Normally you go in with the first round of units, but Belshire Beach, obviously it's hard to get that first pylon over, especially when you're going against 3 Stalkers. But let's go ahead and look at the replay really quickly, and I want to show just the power of the double assimilator. The sheer Stalker count. That's what it comes down to. And look at this. I love what HerO's done. He's kind of like shimmied backwards. So he says, okay, well, I'm going to attack once here, and we're going to have a little bit of engagements back and forth. But at least I'm going to get a lot of position on you and a lot of time. And it gives more time for his gas to kick in and that obviously translates directly into your Stalker count. And he's able to overwhelm his opponent even though he's forgetting a lot faster.
A well-executed defense here from HerO. Thank you so much to the sponsor of this game, Kingston HyperX, for providing SSD and memory for NASL Season 3, as well as an SSD for the Sunday Showdown winner. Saso and Puma have officially arrived to the NASL studio, and they will begin immediately practicing. Rotterdam describes that both of them are intense right now and ready to go. So guys, don't miss that. Pick up your subscriber pass if you haven't already. But in the meantime, stay on this channel. We'll be back with game number 2 between NonY and HerO. We'll find out if NonY, our hometown hero, is able to take it up against his Team Liquid Protoss brethren. I was about to say teammate or whatever. But guys, we'll be back after this. Don't go anywhere.